Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of From Dust. Tonight, just so you know, I'm just gonna put this right up front. Tonight will probably be a high feelings episode due to the events at the end of episode 12. So if you're not up for that, if you're not here for grief, then there is nothing wrong with bowing out. That said, we're all here for it. We're all here to stab ourselves with proverbial knives for your entertainment. And yeah, so let's. It's been 2 weeks since we got to play this. We've had some time to grieve. Let's go around and talk about how we're doing, what we've been up to. Summer, how about you? What have you been up to?
You know me, just partying. Yeah, it's been a pretty good 2 weeks. Busy. Had some time to think things over, and I really feel like I'm still sad about it. But it was such a good episode. Obviously the sad feels were expertly handed to us. So I'm feeling it's okay. It's fine. I forgive, but I never forget. Um, yeah, just been starting up some new shows, which is really exciting. We had our season premiere of Monster of the Week, our third season last night,
Ooh.
which is just choice. I love it. We all have secrets from each other, which I normally don't like secrets between players, and anyone will tell you this, but this is like the one game where I'm like, I mean, we gotta have a couple. And we had our session 0 of Urban Shadows, which I talked about last Saturday when we were playing Ryutama. And these players created the most bomb-ass characters, and I am literally so excited. And they've been handing me NPCs, which is like the next step. And I am screaming because I just know that NPCs die very easily in Urban Shadows. And I don't want anything bad to happen to any of them, and I will have to do that, but it's fine. Starting up more games this week. Just I'm gameful. I have so many games, and I love it. I love playing games every day of the week. I need it.
Yeah.
I want it. I need it. I need more games. Give me more games.
Okay, if you insist.
But really, we have an off Saturday now. You know that, right?
I
Just
do.
casually mentioning.
I do know that. Yeah, I was watching, to completely deflect from that, I was watching the Session 0 for Sanguihona, and so Jolie is on that. If any of you in chat weren't watching it, you may know Jolie from our previous Opposite Saturday show, which is now moving to Sundays, Travel, where he plays just the cutest, sweetest minstrel hippie.
Yep.
Prior to that, when I played with him, it was in a Dungeon World game for a few sessions where he played a druid who communed with the spirits of the mountain. Like the mountains were had each mountain had a spirit in it that he communed with, and he took care of them, and he also smoked halfling weed. And then I watched Sanguihona, and Summer's like, "Hey Jolie, tell me about your character." And out of fucking nowhere, he's like, "Okay, here is tragic backstory. Also, I'm a ghost, and here are all of these characters. Here's this location." I'm like, "What the what? Holy shit, Jolie!"
Yeah. It was so good. It was literally such a surprise too. I had kind of literally all I knew about that character before was that it was a ghost boy, and so I was thinking oh, this is gonna be a sweet sad ghost boy, but it's Playboy, Instagram model, thirst following, so good. I'm just so excited, and the NPCs are just as good too. That Jolie handed me, so I'm just really fucking excited for that game. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, I know from like, at least for me, DMing any game that requires players to participate in the world building is hit or miss, but it's like it's kind of nerve-wracking for me because I never know like how into it is the party going to be, like how into building that stuff collaboratively is the party going to be. And then you called on Jolie. I think you called on Jolie first.
Yeah.
And he just like set the stage and opened it up for everyone else to be like, okay, this is my stuff. And as like just watching, I like my brain exploded. It was awesome.
Yeah, when we built the original, so there was 13 locations like prior to them even starting. It was that same kind of thing of like people didn't really know what they could put into the world. And so now it's really interesting to see like how what the new players have created has like how it's changed what already existed and like is just continuing to grow this city in like very exciting ways. And like literally all of these locations are so choice. It's just I love it so much. I can't handle it how much I love it. Yeah, he sent us a picture in our group chat the other day of what the like performance hall looks like, and it's choice. I will share it. It is so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kiana, how about you? What have your roleplay shenanigans been up to last 2 weeks?
I've had a lot. This is game 3 today.
Ooh!
All right. Yeah. But no, it's good. It's a lot of things have been happening. We have the Lost Girls premiere tomorrow on WebDM, and I'm so excited for that. To be a vampire. I'm on my bullshit again and playing a weird science character, because that's just how I roll now.
You keep doing that, and you're like, I don't know how to pretend to be this smart.
I don't.
But you keep doing it to yourself. I love it.
I know. And I don't try. They just end up weird science characters. I'm like, oh, well, shit, I'm gonna have to bullshit my way through the science that I don't know.
Yep. That's me in
It's
every
fine.
single game in the entire world.
It's fun. But yeah, so there's that. I'm also starting up a new channel with Lauren, that Salty Ginger, which has been a thing that's been on the back burner for a couple months, and then we decided to soft launch this week to test out how to do the pro streamer thing. I ran production for a tabletop stream by myself for the first time, and that was terrifying. But nothing crashed and burned except for the fact I forgot to turn on VODs.
Oh, I hate
So,
that. Yeah.
My Bluebeard's Bride game that I ran is gone into the ether forever.
No.
It happens all the time.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, it was really great. I had an awesome game, and a lot of awesome people showed up and said hello in chat, and told me if I was making sound okay. So I counted it as a success essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that ended up working out pretty well. We won't be officially launching until the spring when I'm done school, but it's kind of just going to be a space for us to test out what works, what doesn't work, and being like, wow, we want to play a game with these people, but none of them have streams. I guess it's our channel now. That's what we're doing this. So that's basically where it is, but it's exciting. And I've signed up for another Saturday game. The one every other Saturday. I'm in a Pulp Cthulhu game, playing it's like a Wild West setting. So I'm playing like a bounty hunter whose girlfriend is the brothel madame.
Nice.
And just shoots things real good. That's what she does.
Shooting stuff is good. Being good at shooting things is...
shooting stuff real good.
Shooting stuff is a fucking amazing.
Yeah, in the premiere episode,
Summer.
in the premiere episode, a bunch of like a big brawl broke out onto the streets, which kind of tumbled out into the bar and the brothel. And June was like, God, I can't have this happen here, because she's kind of like the bodyguard. And so she took them and threw them out the window, and then had to go apologize to her girlfriend for breaking the windows.
Nice.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. They were bothering the patrons. They might have hurt somebody, so I have to get rid of them.
Yeah, legit.
I mean, makes sense. Checks out.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah, I have not been role playing as much as you have. I've been playing more video games, but like going back to the start of channel shenaniganry, the first time I did what I would call a real video game stream, which was not just like me turning on Twitch while I was raiding with my guild in WoW. I tried to play Diablo 3 co-op with a friend of mine, and I couldn't get it to like actually stream up to Twitch because I didn't know what bitrate was. And I was like, it's fine, okay, I'll just record this. We'll record this series straight to YouTube. I was like, it was sort of my like soft launch before I started doing RPG streams. So I was like, okay, but I'll have it figured out for RPGs. We go to do our first episode of Unfettered, which was my very first roleplay or tabletop RPG show. The entire first hour is just one frozen image because I still didn't know what bitrate was, and I didn't know how to optimize OPS. So, like, forever, even on YouTube, like, most of the first section of that episode is just, like, a static image.
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah, it's
Figuring
it's a
it out
struggle.
is definitely a big challenge, but like once you get the hang of it, you're set. You're golden. You'll always have some problems, but there's always somebody who's been doing it a little bit longer than you who can probably answer your questions.
That's basically
Yeah.
what I've been doing.
And
Bothering all of my friends and my younger brother. So how do I optimize? Because I got a new computer to do the streaming stuff. So I'm just like, hey, how do I do the thing? Bro.
Help me.
And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like 16. So,
Nice.
so he actually knows more than I do. Like he built his own computer. And I was like, dude, what do I optimize to? How do I make sure that it goes to my graphics card and not my other stuff?
Yeah.
Hey,
what do
hey.
you mean there? What do these letters on the encoder mean? That's X264. What?
Yeah.
What's times 264? Yeah.
Yep. So now
Um,
I've learned that I didn't have to set too much stuff about this one because I was like, with the RPG stream, and even though there's no bot of it, people have told me that it looked fine.
Awesome.
And I was like, okay.
Doing better
It
than I
looks
did.
and sounds fine. Only thing I can't figure out is how to mute things, like mute the mic, like the Zoom stuff, whenever
Sound
things.
is the hardest part.
And I'm like, I don't know how to do that easily, other than just bringing these down manually.
We should
Alright.
talk after the stream tonight. So part of why I bring this up is like if anybody in chat has like thought of streaming and hasn't done it yet, just fucking ask people for help. Like find people that know what they're doing. Don't bother them during their stream. Like don't come into someone's chat and be like, "Hey, can you tell me how to use OBS?" But like go to the communities that you are active in and like go into Discord and be like, hey, I'm trying this thing, can anybody help? Because forums can help a lot, but people directly being like, oh yeah, I fucked up this like thing real bad when I started, don't do that. Like that is what's going to help you like launch smoothly and learn quickly. So ask questions. Anyway, Adam, I saw that you have been painting some things.
I have
How's
been
that been
painting
going?
some things. I painted a Fomorian, which, for those who do not know from D&D, they are these big old deformed, lumpy giants, and I love them because they can curse and they can make you deformed and lumpy.
Oh, great.
And I fell in love with them when I played one. So now I want to launch a whole campaign around one, like low level, so that way people can get cursed and they can't just uncurse it like my paladin did when I did it a few weeks ago. But yes, been back into painting, got some more projects in the work. Been back to YouTube, got more of that in the work. Been back to voiceover, got more of that in the work. Can't talk about it. Voiceover life, am I right? And God, what was I just totally brain farted. I was gonna tell you something else. What's that? Oh yeah, it's true. My wife and I have been making Legos for the first time in like 10 years. The Overwatch
Yeah?
ones.
Ooh,
We just built.
nice.
I'll show that off. I would show off the mini, but I don't have it up here. But I will show off my Reinhardt.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun. We'll probably do Diva tomorrow or something.
That's fucking sick.
We also made a payload with Widowmaker Tracer, so that was
Nice.
cool. I was gonna say I finally got a break from DMing my D&D campaign. One of my buddies just started DMing for the first time, so I got that kind of like proud papa moment going thing. But even more excitingly, I got to play, and I actually was playing as my wizard character Frambois that I was playing at my LARP. So that was really fun because I've always wanted to explore a wizard in D&D. And right now we're in this like tournament of champions type thing, and I've almost died each fight, so I'm learning
Perfect.
we're very squishy.
Living
I'm
the
not a
wizard
Gregor,
life.
and that's the hard part for me because I want to do risky things and I can't.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, ask Jess how doing risky things as a squishy mage goes.
Mhm.
Well,
I turn into T-Rexes a lot.
Well, that's dope.
That's my security blanket. It's like
There you
the T-Rex.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strategy.
Hmm
Yeah, I love doing
I'm
that.
playing a caster.
No, yeah,
Like one
I
does.
love the ability to shapeshift.
Mhm.
I like how it can just be used as like a story thing too.
Uh-huh.
I had a druid who every time she got anxious, which was a lot, she turned into a raven, and that's
That's
like her
awesome.
comfort form. Because nobody looks twice at ravens in Ravenloft.
Mm.
So she's just like, stop looking at me, Raven. But T-Rexes, transforming a T-Rex is always awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I like druids in Dungeon World actually because it's not like in D&D you're like these are the CR creatures you can turn into. Okay, you have leveled up and you have chosen Moon Druid. You can turn into these CR creatures. In Dungeon World, it's you turn into a creature, and then depending on how you roll, you can like define a number of traits for them. So you decide what a certain animal form does, which is really neat because like oftentimes you're like, I want to turn into a bear. It's like, okay, cool, you turn into a bear. Bears do these things. It's like, well, actually, I wanted to like, weirdly, I wanted to hunt for honey, right? And in D&D, it's like, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but that's not. Okay, we'll figure it out. And in Dungeon World, it's just like, oh yeah, bears hunt for honey, sure. But yeah, these last 2 weeks have been a lot of me avoiding thinking about episode 12. Honestly, because avoidance is my particular form of processing or not processing. So yeah, we'll see how I feel about my feelings after tonight's episode. But are we just about ready to hop in and play some Dungeon World?
Yeah.
I guess.
All right, then let me recap our previous episode. So previously, we saw our heroes return very briefly to Two Rivers, where they needed to pack their bags and get the fuck out of Dodge as fast as possible, so that Bruno and his bandits didn't show up to murder them or something. Farron left word with Helga that they would be unable to attend the birthday party for the Duke's daughter and do that performance. It was difficult farewell, I think, for the two of them, but a necessary one. And without much else holding them back, they left Two Rivers and took to the road. Partway along, they encountered an ogre getting into a fight with a small company of soldiers. That did not go well for the soldiers, but it went fine for the party as they snuck around and managed to get a hold of some of the horses as they ran away from the combat, thus speeding up their journey. Until one night, when the nightmares that had been plaguing Vori and Farron came again, they found themselves not in their own memories necessarily, but in each other's dreams. There was a little bit of finally sharing some information between the two of them of like, wait, you've been having these dreams too? Yeah, you? Yeah. Huh, weird. Until the shadowy apparition that has been following them arrived once again and found their trail. The two of them woke in somewhat of a panic, spoke very briefly, and decided to get back on the road as soon as possible in hopes of putting distance between them and this creature. But I forget if it was that night or several nights later, but they were in camp out on the road once more, and everyone was just sort of sitting there in silence, like they do, when Annika, the demon woman that has been accompanying them, just sort of lost her patience, I guess, and decided to call out basically everyone for, like, just not communicating with each other, how each of them knew a lot, but didn't actually share any of that information, how each of them had things that they wanted and also things that were dangerous that they didn't share with anyone, but she didn't really get to conclude that that call out, because as that happened, the light began to dim, and the shadow man that had been chasing them arrived in camp. Vori fought valiantly, using much of his energy to try and hold the creature back long enough for his friends to get away. They didn't really want to. They sort of stuck around and tried to help, but Arrow's weapons were of no use against this non-corporeal creature, and when Gregor pulled Skullbreaker for his recommendation, surprisingly, Skullbreaker told him to run. So the four of them looked at each other and left in the window that Vori afforded them. Vori, honestly kind of kicked ass, and in one last moment of sacrifice for his friends, he used his own soul as fuel for magic, and bound himself to the Shadow Man to keep him from tracking Farron any longer. And as the sort of broken motes of his being floated away, each of the party members was visited by a brief message from what little remained of Vori, to be themselves, to lean on each other, to be safe. So as we return today, the sun has just crested the horizon. You've been walking exhausted for hours. You're still probably a day out from any sort of town or village. And I don't think any of you have broken the silence yet. Not even Annika. But as the sun begins to rise into the sky, and Lake, who is a hawk, is Arrow's sister, who is an elf. Okay. Damn you, Summer. Lake, who had returned the previous night, sort of nudges into Arrow's hair for some warmth. Who breaks the silence first? Nose goes.
Our nose goes again.
I think maybe it's Annika.
That sounds about right.
As
Thank God.
as each of you feel the like sort of this numbness from your sleep deprivation, exhaustion, from your just almost emotional denial, Annika speaks up. I am sorry for each of you.
People die.
Gregor will look to her and go, "Thank you."
Yeah, Fen will just kind of nod.
I did not know very long. Obviously, you knew him greater than I did. But he did a brave thing last night.
Yeah.
And I think she's looking to each of you to try and like read how you're handling it. So and like I think we as an audience sort of like pan our camera around too. What sort of reactions are we getting?
I think it would be pretty subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It might be difficult even for the party members who have been traveling with Arrow the longest to tell. But he's mad. He's angry.
Mm-hmm. How's that?
At Vori.
Like what small thing would give it away to us? Like what is our super close up shot?
I think it would just be like his hand like gripping his bow so hard like you can see the white of his knuckles. Like
the metal bow that Vori made for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oof. Gregor, how are you responding? Like what do we see with Gregor?
I think being spoken to has kind of helped him at least like look at his friends a little bit, and I think he looks around like he wants to say something, but he doesn't quite have the language for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you say at a time like this? But like, I'll say it's pretty not subtle that he wants to.
Right. Like maybe we see him open his mouth a few times to speak and then just give up.
Yeah, a couple audible sighs, goes to his pipe.
And Farron, as Gregor sort of distractedly lights his pipe, what do we see with you?
Farron has been mostly quiet. The occasional hum coming out almost as if testing out a few notes or putting something from their head out into the world. Once in a while they'll kind of like stare not in the direction they're going but a little bit up and off. Just thinking. Maybe a couple times when the camera pans to their face as they do that, kind of a few blinks away, a few more than usual. Occasionally looking over at Arrow and Gregor. And just staying mostly to themselves.
So, what comes next? We continue onward?
Yes, we
Well,
keep going.
I don't know. A lot of stuff has happened. Maybe we should just maybe take at least a few hours to just rest, put ourselves back together. Maybe we should say a few words. For Vori.
At least, well, taking a rest is probably a important step. I don't think we can do what we plan to do if we're exhausted.
Arrow?
If I'm outvoted, we can rest.
Alright, you're outvoted.
We see Annika's glance like go between the two of you as like that just sort of like punctuate the tension. And yeah, you can set up camp. Are you planning to just like rest for a couple hours, like take a nap and then set back out? Let me rephrase that question. Let me rephrase that question. What is each of you doing in the few hours that you have here?
Sitting down and waiting for everyone to be ready to go again.
So you're still staying up. You're not sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think probably taking a short nap. And then probably, yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do the last words things.
Great.
Gregor would definitely nap when doesn't he? And maybe find some water somewhere and like wash up a little bit. Just kind of like freshen himself off, wash the couple days away. And then I guess as everyone's reconvening, doing their thing, he'll say, well, it was my idea, so I guess I'll go first. I liked Vori. Maybe not extremely well, but I didn't say I'd be good at this. I don't know, he made a good impression on me. I feel like when you meet someone the way we met him, and you stick together after that, I don't think that means nothing. I think he brought a really good energy to this. And I think maybe he was a little more willing to do and say the things that we're not so willing to do or say. I'm gonna miss having him around, and I'll let you guys speak first, but I think his last words to us seriously. Well, who wants to go next?
Summer's like, that's good.
Oh, Arrow's doing that like that.
Arrow's
Not
not
like-
even like, you're not 100% sure he's paying attention.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Jeez, Arrow.
What a friend.
Yeah, Farron will kind of sigh. Vori and I did not get along very well at the beginning. Not the most fortuitous of meetings. But I quickly found somebody who understood much of a shared experience, including, well, beyond with his final words. Normally I'd have a song ready already. It's easier to speak of people that way when they're gone, but I promised him I'd finish it at some point. And through that, I hope that his spark will continue to shine.
I think several expectant sets of eyes turn to Arrow.
Yeah, I think he like looks around at them and he's just like, what is there left to say? We left him.
Yeah.
It's what he wanted.
That doesn't make it any better.
I think besides burned with him, I don't think there was any other option. This one was freaked out as I point to my hammer. That never happens.
He doesn't defend himself.
So it's better to run and live then.
Then die for something that we have no control over? Yes.
I think if we could ask for it, he'd agree.
Arrow, if you too had died last night, who would be coming to your city's aid?
I think he just shrugs a little bit. Either way, I'm just one person.
If you will permit me, I would like to say something as well. I did not know Vori particularly long, but I do know, and she looks at Farron, that he died because he kept secrets. He told me that he knew about this for a long time. He knew this thing was following him, and now we know that it was following you too, Farron. I have heard, she looks to you, Gregor, that you knew Bruno and his people long before you told any of the others, even after Rupert arrived in Two Rivers. But you, Arrow, you grew up in secrecy. And now you have come here. And your friends have generously offered to help you protect that secret. But still, you sit here. You talk only of the things you already know about Vori. Vori died last night because of a mistake. He made what he could of that mistake, but it is a mistake nonetheless. Learn from the dead, or you will join them. She stands up and walks away.
Called out again.
Yeah, keep walking.
Whatever, Mom.
Is she just like gonna go sit somewhere else? Is she like
No, she's going to like pack up
okay?
some camp supplies and like get the horses ready.
Okay.
Gregor is looking right at Arrow. Just to see if at all how Gregor's reacting or how Arrow's reacting to that.
I mean, like, I feel like his general posture and demeanor hasn't changed much. He's obviously working through some shit internally. That he's not ready to talk about.
Do Gregor and Farron talk to each other at all, or do you just mount up and get back out there?
Aaron kind of wants to talk to Gregor, but not really in front of Arrow. So that's interesting.
Is this something that Arrow would pick up on? Like, is this obvious in any way? Is it like a please leave?
Probably not like that.
Because if he gets the sense that, like, I don't
think
know,
At the very least, like, Lake would pick up on it.
she'd be like, and like bird waddle away.
Yeah, Lake would like pull on Arrow's hair and like flap away.
She can talk to me now, by the way.
Oh
With,
shit!
with people words.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see that. I think we see Arrow like doing his 1,000-yard stare. And then we hear a voice, sort of like in. If you have Dolby surround sound, you hear it from all of your speakers simultaneously. This voice, Arrow.
I think he just looks over at her.
And she like turns her head to the side. I think your flock needs a moment.
Yeah, I think he nods kind of like very, very slightly towards her and then gets to his feet and looks at the two of them and says, I'll see if I can't find some fresh water, and walks off.
Arrow, king of excuses.
I mean, he really will go look.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's just gonna go walk in circles in a field somewhere.
Nope, no water. Okay.
Interesting. He's like, I can't smell water within 2 miles of here.
Okay. So the two of you are left sort of awkwardly next to this rushed campfire.
This is like our first moment alone since we were in the bandit camp. Yikes. I think Gregor is just gonna look at Farron and just very, very gently just ask, "Are you okay?"
Quite frankly, not really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is right now.
No. I've been thinking a lot on the last thing that Vory said. Not, Vory before the shadow thing, but fragments.
Yeah, that was something.
And Farron will look up at Gregor with probably the most amount of raw emotions on their face that he's ever seen.
Gregor's definitely a little like, oh.
I'm sorry about the whole bandit camp thing. I was just trying to do what I thought was right, and I, didn't.
Look, don't worry about that, all right? That was all me. That was all my stuff.
It was not all you. I didn't consider your feelings on things, and I put myself in business that I had no business in being if you didn't want me to.
Look, I was scared at the time, all right? I'm grateful that you came after me. That doesn't... Gosh, that seemed like the worst thing in the world. Not even a day ago. And after this, it feels like it was 1,000 years ago now.
Something else happened there.
Gregor's posture immediately gets a little more protective as he's like, "Did Bruno do something to you?"
No, not not directly.
Well,
There was a scout or someone who came in injured, and he wanted me to heal her, and I tried. I did everything that I normally do, but I just cou- I couldn't. And so he just well, intimidated me and told me to find somebody, and I didn't know why. I just and I found Rupert.
Gregor, clearly not understanding where this is going, is like, all right, you found Rupert. Did he help you?
Well, yeah, he came and he asked how he tried to help, and he asked how he could help, and Bruno Bruno's
What did Bruno do, Farron?
he made the injured girl kill him, turn her into a demon, and it failed. She devolved into what those things are, but I just stood there and watched. I couldn't do anything.
Gregor's not really reacting. Like, Gregor is looking at Farron, but his expression's not really changing. He's not looking away. He's not saying a word.
It's just I was terrified. I still am. And not just of Bruno, though he terrifies me, but also what this what would have happened if I had just stayed off to the side? No, stuck my business where it wasn't needed. Or if I had just done magic, I said something. Two things that I'm good at.
Gregor's expression is gonna soften a little bit. Still not gonna say anything for at least a couple moments. But he is gonna reach out and he's gonna put a hand on Farron's shoulder.
I think we're at the top of an hour. That's a good place for us to take our first break. So, we are going to step away for a couple minutes. When we return, we'll see what comes next. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to episode 13 of From Dust. So we see Gregor put a hand on Farron's shoulder. Farron, how do you react?
Farron kind of imperceptibly leans into it a bit.
And I think at about that time, Arrow walks back into camp.
With water. Doesn't
and-
say anything.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
you see Gregor and Farron being not married, as Annika finishes packing the saddlebags.
I guess as everybody kind of reconvenes, Gregor will give Farron's shoulder like a little pat before like getting back up and starting to pack his stuff.
All right, you set back off onto the road. It's another, I think, like 2 days to the next town, and I think not today. Like maybe there's some exchange of pleasantries of like, oh, look at that, and I wonder how far it is to the next town, and gosh, I wish riding a horse for many hours was not so boring. On the second day, Annika is going to pull her horse up next to yours, Gregor. Gregor, I would like to speak with you a moment, if you do not mind.
Yeah, sure.
You said that you spent time in your youth at the at the university for the Bones Magi?
Oh no, I spent my youth with the bandits. I spent my my teen young adult years with the Bonds Mages.
Ah, I see. I was, what, did you learn anything there? About magic, I mean.
There is something weirdly funny about this to Gregor. And he, I learned that that I'm no good at magic.
I see. Well, you were there. Did you maybe see anything about portals? Going, like, making... I do not know magic well myself. I'm sorry. I'm not good at describing these things.
Mostly from, going from one location to another, as a portal does.
Right.
But generally, within this world,
Right.
one side of the country, maybe. That took a lot of effort. I do remember some of the students occasionally, like, messing about with smaller scale portals, able to get from one room to another and the like.
Is there someone there that would know more, perhaps, that you could that I could speak with?
Yeah. My adopted father knows pretty much everything there is to know about magic,
What?
as far as I understand it.
Really? That is good news. Ah,
I'm glad to hear it.
this might be strange, but I had an idea back when I was back at the camp with
All
Bruno
right.
and them.
Oh, that camp.
Yes. If there are these demons, and if Bruno wants to make more of them, intentionally, not just the way that they happen, what if we could make a... What if there could be a place where we could send them? Where they could not hurt anyone. Like to banish them.
I mean, that doesn't sound entirely out of the realm of possibility.
It doesn't. Good.
I'm just giving you my side of it here. You know,
Right.
not a mage. Not a mage. Oh, God. Yeah, he might be willing to speak with you, but knowing him or really any other mage, they're gonna find you fascinating. They're probably gonna want to study you, get a blood sample or something.
Right. Right. I suppose you're right. But maybe you could speak on my behalf?
I guess I could. Then again, you're probably gonna have to do that anyway to be willing to help out with this undead stuff, so what's another thing, right?
I do not mean to ask too much of you. But
It's fine. It's just dear old dad and I aren't really on the same page. He's a little bummed I didn't pick up the mage life.
Right. Right. Not everyone has, She looks at Farron. The gift, I suppose.
Exactly.
But, and then her gaze sort of drifts to Arrow. I think there is something that should be done. Your friend does not seem interested in solving his own problems. And,
Tell me about it.
given time, he could become like... And she just sort of lets the sentence hang.
I'll say something when we get to town.
Good.
I'm gonna hate it.
I'm sorry. Arrow, you have a hawk that talks to you now.
Yeah, I
Is
do.
this hawk eavesdropping like a sneaky motherfucker?
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that like I'm not traveling that far away, and they're not talking that quietly.
Okay.
Elf ears and all that. He's very good at pretending that he's not listening.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what he does. Just ignores the situation at hand.
Just completely forget. All right.
Wipe that one out of the out of the memory. No big deal.
I think this next town. Do you try to pass through quickly, or do you stick around at all?
Arrow
you-
would want to like refuel, get going. Let's
Yeah.
bounce. Like, just with
Alright.
all the shit happening.
I think Annika would share that feeling as well, because the closer you get to Sanctuary, the larger the towns get, and the less interested, the less accepting people are of a strange demon lady.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a perilous journey for the last leg of your travel here towards Sanctuary. I believe, Arrow, you can take 2 of the rolls and also automatically get a 10 plus.
Yeah.
Fucking cheater.
Thank goodness.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
But previously, your quartermaster was Vorial.
Don't talk about it.
Sorry, there is a vacancy for the position of quartermaster
Thank you.
in
Oh
your party.
no.
Who would like to take over?
What is this, a wisdom thing?
Yep.
I have a 0.
I have a 1, which makes me the more qualified
Yeah, do it.
quartermaster.
It worked out hella well last time Gregor tried to do that, so...
Gregor's
gonna
the
be-
best quartermaster.
Listen, it's gonna be fine this time, okay?
Okay.
This is assuming that Arrow is still trailblazing and scouting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense for him.
Alright. So...
If he could do all 3, he gladly would.
I'm sure.
And we would let him.
This is going to be, I think, the remaining journey from this podunk town to Sanctuary is another 5 days. So we're looking, or 5 rations rather. So you're looking at 5 rations. Go ahead and roll plus wisdom, Gregor.
We believe in you.
A 7 to 9. Okay. You
I'll take it.
perform your job as expected. The normal number of rations are consumed. For Arrow, on a 10 plus, the Trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination, so you'll be arriving there in about 3 days instead of 5. You're still going to use the same number of rations because Quartermaster, which I think just means like, Gregor, you're distracted. You're not portioning super strictly, especially in comparison to how Vori was, right? You're just sort of like, put an amount of food in the pot, cook it, give it to people. So you eat more heartily than you did previously, but that's not necessarily good for your stores. And Arrow, on the second to last day, so we've got one more day of travel after this, as you're making your way along the road, which at this point, as you draw near to Sanctuary, is like it just curves around the edge of this lake. You see a company of armored knights up ahead. Presumably some form of paladin, as those are the most common knights. But you can't quite make out what order they subscribe to from this distance. But you managed to see them before they noticed the party. What would you like to do?
Are they patrolling, or do they seem like they're going somewhere?
I think this is reading a situation.
Okay.
Like, is it discern realities?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember the names of the moves. Good job,
Nice.
Dylan.
Okay, yeah, I will roll that. A 9.
7 to 9, so you can ask 1.
Okay. What is about to happen?
What's about to happen? Huh. Is this you, like, trying to discern if they're
Where they're
patrolling
going,
or-
pretty
okay.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, They do appear to be outfitted, like you send Lake out to get a closer look with her hawk eyes. And they are outfitted for long travel. They have a small wagon with them with supplies on it. So the best bet is they're probably... It's not enough for it to be like a supply run. So they're probably going long distance somewhere. And she will remark, actually, that she recognizes these humans.
Oh, lovely. Who are they, Sweet Burp?
You may recall from previous episodes back when you were in Sanctuary, Loris Company, led by Legata Josephine Loris.
Yeah, I fucking
of the
remember
Red
them.
Hands.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Remind me, did we leave them on good terms last time we saw them?
Yeah, I believe last time...
I think they were fighting demons last time we saw them.
Yeah, last time you saw them in person. Like, you've heard of them since by talking to the church, but last time you saw them in person was, it was at Rookdale, when they sort of fought back the demons to give you a path out of the town.
Okay, well, if they're far enough out, I think that Arrow would ask the group what they think, because his instinct is to keep going. They haven't done anything wrong, right? Like, they're not doing anything wrong by being on the road. And the last time they saw them, they were saving our asses so we could get away. So, yeah, I think he would, because he's scouting up ahead, right? So he'd come back to the party and probably tell them to, like, pull off to the side for a second. A question, real quick. This is something that retroactively I definitely would have taken care of, but is there any, like, signifiers of the party who had these horses before us?
Yes.
Okay. I have
there are
scratched
probably
those
some.
out.
Okay, so if you want to actually, like, seriously cover your tracks, I'm gonna need you to drop like 5 coin on like a new sets of tackle and everything. Because they're like we're talking like adorned bridles and all that stuff.
What will I do without my 5 coin though?
Out of your what, 2,000?
I need that. No, I will. Yeah, I just took it out of my stuff to get.
Then the only tell at this point would be that they are very well trained horses that would presumably hold up reasonably well in battle.
Okay. Yeah. So he would come back to the group and say, well, if we keep heading this way and stay on the road, we're gonna pass Loris Company.
What?
They're coming this way.
Oh, gosh.
I can take us off the trail. But we haven't done anything.
It's true. They're gonna want to chat.
We're in a hurry. Looks over at Farron.
Well, do we know they'll want to stop and chat, or are we just going to pass on by?
We can assume that if they recognized us, they might want, I don't know, to see what happened.
Also, I'd rather not be caught out trying to look like we're sneaking away. If that makes sense.
If I may interrupt, who is this Loris Company? Says the demon in your party.
We have her with us.
Put your hat on.
Thank you, Dylan.
She's got her hood up.
Good. Put it on.
Right, that also may be a problem.
I'd rather not chance it then now.
Yeah, she sort of like glances
Yes.
between the three of you, still not having an answer to who these people are.
They're a group of warriors who do not take very kindly to.
I
Mercenaries?
work for the church.
Oh, paladins. Yes, I would
Yeah.
prefer if we could leave the road.
That is very fair.
I believe in you, Arrow. Get us around.
Okay. Yeah, he will find another. Obviously, it won't be a road, but he'll find a like right up ahead and try and find the best path around, like trying to get either like some cover or something so that they wouldn't be seen. You know what I mean? Like weirdos who are not taking the road looks
Right.
very suspicious.
Okay. Go ahead and roll Defy Danger for me. The danger being that, yeah, the Lore's company will notice you skulking around in the woods.
Okay, using what?
I don't know what
My
approach.
sneaks?
What approach do you think you're taking?
My
Are you
my
moving fast?
dexterity?
Are you thinking quickly? Are you
I would say that I am
Bearing.
acting quickly.
Okay. Let me just double check real quick.
Dexterity, please and thank you. I will take it.
Let's see, it says getting out of the way or acting fast. Ultimately, it's your call what move you're doing, so yeah, sure. Go for
Okay, cool. I'll do it. Oh, 8.
7 to 9.
Just offer me something. Just give me an ugly choice or
You
hard bargain.
stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The GM will offer you a worse outcome. Hard bargain or ugly choice.
Yeah, you can just give me one of those last two.
Interesting. A worse outcome or
No,
other
no.
options.
We don't want that.
Uh,
We don't want it or need it here.
I think
Think of what we've been through, Dylan. Just think about it.
you're in a rush, sort of, to like get off the road, and you successfully get off of the road and into the forest. You have to dismount your horses to try and like shepherd them through, because obviously there's a path right there, so there's not a whole lot of trail blazed in this stand of trees here. But you are at the rear of the party, sort of like ushering everyone along, trying to cover tracks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice call out, "Ho there!"
I'm innocent. No, I will. I'll turn around.
And you see
stop.
Legata Josephine
Yeah.
is looking into the forest after you. And as you turn around, she sees your face and will like hold up the company. You, I believe we've met.
He looks like he doesn't really fully recognize her, even though he do. And he'll ride closer to them.
You're gonna have to roll Defy Danger.
Shut up.
With charm and social grace if you're trying to lie about recognizing a fucking paladin who saved you from a town overrun by demons.
He's going over there. He's just gonna lie a little tiny bit, and he's not good at it, okay? Okay, so it's fucking charm, charisma. I'm bad at this.
Mark experience.
Yep.
You guys are
She looks past you, like as you approach, she looks past you toward the tree line and makes a gesture to the remainder of the company, and they dismount and sort of move to the tree side of the caravan, and the remaining three of them are all peering into the woods. What brings you here, Arrow? Was it?
Yes, that's my name. We are headed back to Sanctuary.
And where are your companions?
They must have scouted on up ahead.
Must they have? Interesting. We didn't see them. What took you away from the city?
Work.
Doing what?
Hunting harpies.
I see. 2 rivers.
Yes.
She peers toward you suspiciously, and there's something different about her from the last time you saw her. Like, she was always like she was intense, right? She's a cop, and so she's got cop face. But this time, as she looks at you, it's less like she's looking at you and more that she's looking into you. In a way that, like, you've felt guilty in front of somebody with authority before, but this is like, no, you're pretty sure she's actually, like, reading your mind or something right now. How do you react to that feeling? Just try to keep your cool?
Yeah, I think, like, he's told one lie, which is that they might be scouting up ahead, which they fucking are, so it's not even really a lie.
One of the other paladins, if I can remember which one, I think it was Thorantor. Yeah, Thorantor, calls out, "Legata, tracks here. 3 more horses." 3. Picked up someone new?
That we did. Recently.
What for?
They're not a trained fighter and needed safe passage back to the city. We were headed that way.
Alright. I'm gonna need one last defy danger from you.
I can't do this anymore. Okay, with what? Charm still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Arrow.
8.
8. Worst outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. Ooh. Ooh. I'm going to need you to call your allies out from the forest. I'd like to speak with them a moment.
He nods. And I think he whistles to Lake to send her into the forest to get Farron and Gregor only.
Okay. So, Lake flies into the forest. The 3 of you are sort of trudging kind of aimlessly now, because Arrow's not there. Through these
Woods.
Through this fortunately small forest, so you can only get so lost. And Lake swoops down and lands on your shoulder, Gregor.
Oh, hey, Lake.
She reaches
Nice,
down, like
likes me now.
pulls on your beard a little bit. It's painful.
Ow, ow, stop. Okay. Guys, I think Lake wants us to follow.
All right. I do not know if it's a good sign if the bird came to come and get us.
Probably not. Let's go. Come on, Biscuit, I'll say as I start leading my horse back that way.
You named your
I've
horse
named him
Biscuit?
I'd like to point out that that is definitely not the horse's name, and Arrow has told him multiple times that that is not the horse's name.
Gregor's very fond of Biscuit.
The horse's name is Stallion with twice as many vowels. It's an ancient Elvish word.
Stallion.
So Lake will also like indicate to Farron to follow. Lake notably, however, does like just ignores Annika.
Yeah, Farron will kind of like turn back to Annika. Keep your head low, and hopefully we'll be right back.
I do not like any of this, but okay.
Neither do I.
After maybe a minute of like tense silence, Josephine is not like affording you small talk in this time.
I don't want to keep it.
She's just sort of looking around at the trees, and after about a minute, Farron and Gregor walk their horses back out, and the two of you see like 3 paladins dismounted right at the tree line. Their weapons aren't drawn, but they are like those with swords have their hands on them, and you notice the elf who carries a bow has strung his bow. Ah, there you are. There was a third, wasn't there?
I don't really understand the bird. I would be able to say that it just kind of does what it does.
Right. Legatic Loris gets down off of her horse and walks over to Gregor and Farron. She holds out a hand to Gregor. Like in a handshake posture.
Gregor will give her a handshake.
It's good to see you made it out alive. You managed to keep these two walking as well. I understand you're escorting a client?
Yeah, you know, not everybody's able to take care of themselves the way we are. Gregor says, not really thinking on those words as he says it to the ladies that got him out of demon trouble.
Yeah. Of course. She looks at Farron. Right. And your client has stayed within the forest for what reason?
Just lie.
She looks to the three of you.
Yeah,
Any-
yeah.
Any explanation will do.
Her safety, the bird came after us. We thought maybe Arrow was in trouble. Didn't want to get them dragged into it. But I'm pretty relieved to see it's just you guys. Poker face, poker face, poker face.
Hey, Gregor.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a roll for me?
I do love rolls.
Don't you? Don't you? Forget. Yeah, I like how the bard is not talking. Everyone else is like, no, we'll lie, we've got it.
It's more of a killer is slow on coming up with excuses, and everyone else is.
Everyone's like, dude, we gotta answer right now.
That was a great lie.
Speaking from personal experience, that's every party with a party face.
Do you want me to roll
I do.
Defy Danger?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah! I guess I won't use strength.
Not this time, probably.
Can I
Unless you wanna just
intimidatingly tell her?
fuck her? There's no chance of intimidating her.
Okay.
An 8. Okay. Very well. Stay out of the forest. Stick to the path. Someone less understanding might think you're bandits.
I told you guys.
She'll reach past you to Farron to shake their hand as well.
Yeah, Farron will shake her hand.
Gives it a firm shake. She, like, glances, like, left and right between your two eyes. And then turns from you without saying anything. Walks up to Arrow. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Holds out her hand.
Yeah, he takes it.
The moment your hands touch, you feel a burning sensation.
Mm-hmm.
And her eyes narrow. Watch yourself. You walk down the wrong paths. You find you can't turn back. Laura's company, move out. She climbs up onto her horse. After maybe 2 minutes of riding there, around a bend in the lake and out of sight. What do you do?
Let's go.
Would we have noticed, like, Arrow had any discomfort at
Yeah,
the...
you would have seen Arrow wince.
At least a little bit.
Unconsciously, yeah.
Is everything alright?
For now.
Alright. Well, we should probably get on the road and wait quickly meet up with any more lovely old friends of ours.
Let's go make sure nothing get Annika first.
Yeah, probably should.
Eaten by wolves! No!
Without stealth into the woods. Come, Biscuit.
No. Oh, God.
Biscuit. Alright, yeah. Your journey for the next day and a half is unimpeded. And you arrive in the foggy, wet city of Sanctuary sometime around midday. Sanctuary seeing a lot of traffic, and much of that being commerce is pretty lax on the gate security, so you don't have to worry about getting stopped by guards on your way in. But Annika, very much like the time when you bumped into her in Two Rivers, Gregor has like the hood up and cloak drawn and is still so like hunched over her horse the entire way. Yeah, you know of at least one in here that you could stay at. There are potentially others if you would prefer not to go back to one that knows you. What are your feelings?
Why not go back?
Okay. So, oh god, I'm gonna utter these words. Thanks, previous D&D party. So as we hit the top of the hour, and before we go to our break, we see you arrive and dismount your horses, handing them off to the stable hands, and walking into the warm common room of the raunchy goblin.
Yeah!
So,
Sweet home.
we're gonna step away for a couple minutes, refill on water, that sort of thing, and when we return, I believe we are going to see Arrow call in on an acquaintance who gave him a ring. See you soon. Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of From Dust. We see you arrive in the Raunchy Goblin, and do I remember the name of the innkeep? Yes, Lethaldarin. This sort of like tree trunk armed elvish barkeep sees you and sort of like nods without recognition and goes back to wiping down this glass, and then like looks up and recognizes the three of you. Oh, friends. Puts the glass down. Nice to see you back in town. What's it been? 2-3 months?
Something along those
Yes,
lines.
it has.
Been that long?
It has. Yep.
Wow. Insane time.
And how has business been?
You know, same old inn, same old problems.
Well, we're looking to just have a place to rest. And like looks at the others as if like just confirming that this is what we're doing.
Well, looks at Arrow. Yeah, I know what resting can look like for some of you. Absolutely. Dude, last time you were here, you got totally smashed.
Yep.
No, I know.
I
I remember it was really fun.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I have vacancies upstairs. How many rooms do you need? He like waves past you toward Annika, like, hi, Vori, was it? And she like looks out from under the hood a little bit. I'm sorry, you have me mistaken for someone else. Oh, my apologies.
This is our companion. She's a little shy. Don't take any offense to it.
None taken.
2 rooms should be fine.
Yes.
I would like a third.
I don't plan on sleeping here.
2 rooms.
Okay.
Arrow never once used the fucking bed. He's not gonna waste another room.
I'll ready the horse trough for you, Arrow. He pulls out a lockbox. How many days will you be staying?
We're unsure, but at least a week.
At least a week. Very well. Then let your DM scroll, he says. God, I have been using too many computers. Flip. It's a physical book. You don't scroll a book, friends.
I just need to scroll through my notes real
Let me
quick.
just scroll through this fucking book.
It's not an iPad.
Also, yeah, the last time we were here, we got drunk.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get drunk again.
A week's stay, civilized inn, is 30 minus charisma in coins. I'm gonna use Farron's charisma here. Farron, what is your charisma?
My charisma is. Hold on a second. Too many tabs. Charisma is 17.
All right, so that's 13 if I know how to math correctly, which I probably don't.
And that is correct.
For 2 rooms is 26. So it's going to be 26 coins for you to stay here a week.
Alright. 26 coin.
And who's paying for that?
I will.
Okay.
I
so
have 9
Don't worry about the
coins.
money.
he'll be like,
Nobody ask me any questions about the money ever. Don't do it.
He'll be like,
you will
that'll
get the
come out
cold
to
shoulder for 2 weeks.
come out to 26 coins.
I will give it to.
And her just like walks out. Boom! 26
Yep.
coins. No words. Very well. He puts 2 keys on the counter. Waits a second and then puts a third on the counter. Enjoy your stay. Moves one of them toward Annika and 2 towards Gregor and Farron. I'll lock the box and put it back under the bar.
Thank you very much.
Can I get you anything to drink while you're here? Arrow?
Yeah.
Anything on special?
Yeah, actually, I just got a stout in from some monastery up north. Pretty good if you're into that sort of thing.
We'll get around.
All right. That'll be like another coin. And he'll pour some drinks for the four of you. Annika will like bow. I'm going to look into my room, and like she grabs the stein and the key and just goes to the stairs.
Bye.
Yep, she's gone.
Yeah, Arrow will grab his drink and go like get at one of the open tables.
All right.
Join him if you will. You're not getting a verbal invitation.
Figured.
Do Gregor and Farron stay at the bar, or do they go to sit with
Yeah,
Aaron?
I'll go sit.
All right.
Yeah.
Gregor will go sit.
The big
Yeah,
ol' fluffy
we'll
bar cat
join.
will... Yeah, the big ol' fluffy bar cat will come and like run between your legs. Like, new people, can I bribe them for... Can I extort them for food?
Speaking of, I can talk to the cat.
Talk to the cat.
Please don't forget, I can talk to literally any animal that you put in front of me.
Would you like to talk with the cat?
I would like to listen to the cat respectfully if they're talking to us.
The cat is just like... The cat's keeping very quiet. It's it's a sly cat. It's purring as it weaves between your seated legs, but it's not meowing. It's not like being annoying. You can tell it's done this before.
Yeah, I think he leans down and he's like, "Any good gossip?"
And the cat looks up at him, and to the two of you, you just see like Arrow lean down and start talking to a cat. Well, it depends on what counts as good gossip for you, and what you can feed me.
Well, I can feed you just about anything. The better the gossip, the better the food.
Gregor's just gonna glance at Farron
I think this is.
and
I
look
think
back
this is,
at Arrow.
This is parlay. God, it's been so long since
Yeah,
we rolled a
definitely like
parlay.
it's definitely like a.
That's the thing. Do we know you can talk to animals?
I think
no one said it.
no, I haven't said it. I think
I'm
it's more like
trying to-
intense eye contact. I imagine like a lot of it is very
Okay.
nonverbal communication.
So you're just
It's not like
staring
he's-
at a cat.
Yeah,
But
and the
it's-
cat is staring back.
It's meowing back at you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think this is parlay because you actually have leverage for the first time in like 10 episodes.
Can I have a bonus or some shit? Because it's a cat.
No, it's giving you the roll at all.
Fine. Here I go.
Mark experience.
I did. Obviously, I did. You know, I love that XP.
The cat rolls over onto its back, exposing its very very floofy belly. I haven't heard anything today.
He just shakes his head and leans back up to the table, drinks his drink.
You're at hey. Like a paw bats at your foot.
Yeah, he'll like pat his lap if the cat wants to come up for some scritches.
Yeah, it totally will. After a little bit, Lithaldarin will come by to retrieve your glasses. So, what brings you back to Sanctuary?
We're just passing through, actually.
Oh,
Stopping to restock and rest a little bit.
I see. Where are you headed to next? Last time you left for, was it Two Rivers?
Yes, that's right. Where would be a normal place to go?
A normal place to go?
Yeah, like, is there another place, like,
You tell me.
I mean, I assume that along the river that kind of goes towards Elisurdran, there would be places, but like I'm trying to think of like a place that would be, it wouldn't be out of, that's that direction, that wouldn't be like wild to say we were going there to look for work, basically. Like a place that you
Okay.
might go to look for like adventuring work.
Sure. You
I would
could
assume there would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's the White Spire Academy, sort of, but also you could just welcome to Dungeon World. You can make a place.
Cool. Let's make a place. Names,
Alright.
friends?
So is this like, is it a town that people venture through a lot? Is it a city?
Yeah, I think it's probably like down here somewhere.
Okay.
And I would say it's kind of like a little, because it's like at the base of this tiny little mountain here. Maybe it's like a mining town or something like that. But they have like a lot of abandoned mines that lead to good adventure shit.
Maybe did it
Haven-
used to be
Haven
like
mines.
a? It used to be a dwarven mine back before the Reformation.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What's it called?
Do y'all have any good name suggestions? It probably used to have like a dwarven name.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying
it's
to
probably-
brainstorm.
I know. Let's go look online.
I can help you there. Let's say, how do you feel about Endvari's Rest?
I love it.
Okay.
Done and done.
We'll give it a temp name here, and I'll actually mock it up with Photoshop later. Endvari's Rest. Save changes. Boom. All right. So, yeah. So we ask you where you're going, and you say you're headed toward Endvari's Rest.
Endvari's Rest.
Just back and forth with you, isn't it? Well, if you need anything while you're here, just let me know. Oh, and what was it? There were some paladins came through recently. I know you used to do some work with the church. Came through. They said there was some trouble out east a ways. Something about demons. Heard that was a subject you were looking into, or I remember that was a subject you were looking into. So maybe that'll pique your interest once you're done with whatever you track down in Endvari's Rest.
If you hear anything else, let us know.
Happily. He takes the coin for your drinks and goes back to the bar. What would you like to do while you were here? Are you just sort of gonna sit in this common room in silence around a table awkwardly? Or would you like to do
Maybe.
something?
That's you operating under the assumption that Arrow ever feels awkward in silence.
I was speaking for the group.
Right. Okay, well.
But yes, that question was pointed directly at you, Summer. Because I know the answer.
Listen, I want to go see my girlfriend, but I will wait until an appropriate time, like when everybody else is asleep and I don't have to explain where I'm going.
Okay. So we can fast forward then to the evening, unless Gregor and Farron have something pressing they wanted to do during the day.
No, they want to be alone together in their room, don't they?
Careless Whisper starts playing in the background. All right. So, as your companions head off to bed, Annika never came downstairs. Just to be clear, she's just
Yeah, okay.
up there.
Getting drunk in her room, I feel.
Yeah, big mood. As your two friends head up to bed, you are given an opportunity to leave the common room. Mithaldrin will wave goodbye, have fun sleeping in a park.
I will. Thank you. And I'm gonna go see Mab, or
Alright.
go to where I last saw her in that house, in that weird house that wasn't there.
The
in
weird
the
in-between
basement.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
So you head off into that portion of the town that Dylan definitely remembers the name of.
The Fish District.
I think it was it Shilling Shave?
That's a great question. I don't know.
No, it was Nowhere Town, because I remember Jess specifically commenting on the name of it.
What was the comment? Wait, what was the comment?
It was about the naming conventions of Kulimba in general. Fun fact: Nowhere Town is actually named after one of the gods, one of the asylum members, whose name was Nobody. Yeah, that didn't make conversations really confusing in that campaign. Nope, it didn't. Who's in here? Nobody.
Nobody.
So you head into sorry, this is a huge diversion. I think it was an in-character comment, Jess, because Vori is sassy about everything. It's like, the creativity of the names in this town. Anyway, so you head into Nowhere Town, and as we saw before, it's this quiet residential district of low brick houses. And when you get to where you think it is, we see you sort of standing out front of these two houses, and you do the same thing you did last time, where you just sort of like lean back and forth until you get the vague sense of the perspective being off, and just like sort of like looking at an optical illusion where you're having trouble seeing the second image of it. Suddenly, you see this dilapidated house. We see you walk in the rickety front door and down the creaky, decaying steps into the basement. You shouldn't be here. What are you doing here?
Came to pay a visit.
People don't just visit. I thought
Why
I was
not?
done with you. Because they don't. This is secret. And you see like this little pixie that you saw before sort of like move out from behind a support beam. Well, whatever you need, just say it to me and I'll pass it along to the queen.
I wanted to see her.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that's just not possible.
Why not?
Fine. He just winks out of existence.
Oh, that was really easy. I'll just wait patiently.
Hello again. A voice comes from the shadows behind you. And we see Mab with her darkened hands and her black inky wings. You came back.
I did. I have some questions.
Your kind often does. Do you have anything to give for your question?
What would you ask?
She turns her head to the side a little bit and walks up to you. And she reaches out and takes your hand, the one with the ring on it. Nothing more than you've already given. I see you've been hard at work.
I guess I don't understand why you gave this to me.
I told you what it meant, didn't I?
I feel like I'm not really giving up anything.
She reaches up her other hand to your chin and slides her thumb along the line of your jaw, and it feels less romantic and more like somebody inspecting a skull. But you are. The power that you feed to this ring, and she turns your hand over, palm up, feeds back to me, into the nature that I command. And that, and she brings her fingers up to either side of your jaw and pulls your face maybe an inch away from hers as she looks into your eyes, not making eye contact so much as examining them. That is power you cannot have. Does that answer your question?
I think he just nods a little bit.
How disappointing. She brings her hand down and pushes against your chest to stand you away from her. If that is all. Unless it's not.
Can you tell me anything about... And he kind of like gestures to his eye, which he's probably only seen in like passing, like catching his reflection in windows.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's something that stood out to him, but he hasn't used it yet.
A shame, really. I sent away a dying thing, and what comes back to me is a broken man. You've been fractured. I see that it could help you. But it is not of your own doing, is it?
No.
I never had much fondness for the Eldrin. They liked to meddle. It's part of why I made that ring. To take back what they wanted to take from me. There's no turning back. The clock. At least, well, not very far. As she looks into your augmented eye again. But a second thing, you carry a life in you now.
What kind of life?
I think you know.
I don't want it.
Then why did you bring it there? You mortal types. You take action, and then when consequences come, you say I don't want it. All the time. You do not plant for the harvest, and then when the hunger comes, you say, I wish I could eat. You do not breed kindness with your neighbors, and when their armies come, you say, I do not wish to die. She puts one sort of sharp-nailed finger over your heart. You hurt for yourself. And when it scars you, you say, I wish to be whole. And then she turns, she like twists her finger so it catches up your shirt, and pulls you a little closer. I want my pets to learn. Will you learn from this?
What can be learned?
Your actions carry consequences, pet. Even when you think they are just for others, they are for you as well. This world takes not kindly to evil. Trust me, I know.
I can see that.
I have a request.
All right.
You have done well in your first steps with my ring, but you could do more. The forests are leaving me. They grow weak with every passing day. And as they do, so do I. And you see a change in her expression. Like, she's been mostly just sort of inquisitive in each of your interactions with her, but she's starting to look angry. My husband wishes to take my kingdom from me.
What would you like me to do?
Bring back the power of nature. Bring it back. Bring it to me, so that I may rule where I am supposed to, instead of... And she looks around the basement, and I think previously you'd gotten this assumption that, like, this is the place where she goes to meet mortals, so, like, they don't get freaked out, or, like, this is her meeting point. But you suddenly realize that this isn't a convenience for mortal people. This is the place that she can get to.
Yeah.
This is what she can muster. So that I am not stuck here.
I'll do what I can.
Keep a weary eye, pet. Much is changing in Kalimba. Even as the forests change, so too do the hearts of mortals. So too does the course of life and death. These changes do not come about on their own. There are people that walk this earth that seek to destroy it. Think perhaps you have met some already. But there is one you must be especially cautious of. And she steps in close and reaches both of her arms over your shoulders and puts one hand behind your head and pulls you in for a kiss. What does Era do?
Listen, if anybody's gonna get a smooch, it's gonna be me.
So with one hand firmly on the back of Arrow's head, she pulls him in and kisses him deeply for maybe 5 seconds, and you see a vivid image of a tall figure with a stag's head. And as she pulls away, she pushes past to your ear and whispers, "His name is Gravis. I do not wish to end the world your kind has built, to take your cities from you. But he would see them rot." And as Arrow opens his eyes, he stands alone in the basement. What do you do?
I guess I'll leave now.
Do we see, does Arrow pause, or?
Yeah. Oh, he stands there for a solid, like, 30 seconds before he goes upstairs and leaves.
Yeah, I think Lake is waiting for you on like a lamp post outside. So? She flies down to your shoulder.
We have more than one job now.
Seems you're getting much busier.
I think that we can work toward them simultaneously.
Hopefully we resolve them soon. I miss flying through the forest with you.
We'll be home soon.
She cocks her head, but doesn't say anything. I think that's a good time for us to cut over to Farron and Gregor. So the two of you bade goodnight to Arrow, knowing that he is not staying here, and retreated to your room. And you find yourself now just sort of lying awake, I think. Neither of you falling asleep. Who speaks up between the two of you?
Fern will probably shift as if to turn towards Gregor. Usually you're asleep by now.
I know. I can't get settled, you know?
Neither can I.
What's keeping you up?
I think before Farron answers that question, what is keeping Farron up?
A lot of thought. Kind of running through, processing everything. A lot of, also thinking about what Gregor's thinking, because he didn't say
Right.
anything.
You're like
What are you thinking?
several layers deep in the, okay, what are they thinking? And then what do I think about this?
Yeah, like, because, like, they had that conversation, but Gregor didn't say anything. So it's just kind of like this,
That's true.
I can't tell what's happening here kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And also a little bit of fear, because the last time that they slept properly, they had that nightmare, which then led to Vori's death.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of things are happening in Farron's brain.
Actually, an important note, you have not had a nightmare since. Like,
Yeah,
previously
so-
you'd
so-
had them every night, but...
Yeah. So, like, they had the nap, which they felt, like, okay about, because it's, like, it's just a nap. But, like, a full-on sleep is something they haven't done yet. And is worried about. On some level. And so that's, he looks over at Gregor. A lot of thoughts. Processing things.
This week sucks.
That is one way to put it. Yes.
Gregor's gonna actually, like, sit up And he's gonna say, I'm sure it was really hard, but I'm glad you told me about Rupert.
It took a few days of some convincing.
I think he might have been the last decent person left in there, you know? Besides all those kids that don't know what they're getting into.
I'm sorry again. It's...
Well, it was his choice. He kinda knew what was going on, and he stuck with it. And also, I don't want you to beat yourself up so much. You were in a really tough situation there. I'd be intimidated too.
Let's try not to run into Bruno at any point.
I agree with you there, but part of me also feels like things are gonna get a whole lot worse if something's not done about them. I don't know if we're the ones to do anything about it, but
I don't think it is.
hey, a lot of stuff's coming up. Who knows? Maybe if we can help Arrow out, maybe we'll get a little friendlier with the elves. I can talk to my father a little bit.
Look at us. Going after all of our backstories, as they would put it.
That's all I got besides myself.
What you have?
Does Gregor say anything?
I might have actually missed part of that.
Oh, okay.
All I heard was you have.
That's all you have?
Oh, okay.
The most expectant silence.
You want to know what's really funny? I mean, you already knew about me. The others didn't, and I don't know. I just felt like if they found out I was a part of all that, that'd be the end of it, you know? And they did, and it wasn't. And I invested all that worry into it, thinking that, you know, I finally had something here, and that was gonna ruin it all.
Well, if you haven't noticed, I've known for, what, how long now?
Oh. Yeah, but you're different.
Am I now?
Yeah, I guess. Stop looking at me like that. I didn't put that much thought into this.
Look, I'd imagine that anybody who considered a friend would see who you really are as a person, and considering we have been traveling with our companions for what, 2, 3 months? That they would know who you are, and well, your past is not everything.
Yeah, I guess I kind of thought it was.
The past is part of you, but it's not all of you. Part of it is what. With any story, a backstory is where the hero comes from. It shapes who they are to a certain point. And then they grow, and they adventure, and they create their own stories. It's called a backstory for a reason. It's the back part of their story. Not the entirety.
You know, I've spent so much time trying to get away from my backstory,
I know.
but it keeps on reaching back for me. And you really think I can get ahead of it?
I think it's less about getting ahead of it as much as it is just seeing it as what it is. Just a part, and not the whole.
You know, I think Annika was right about us.
How so?
You just said it, like, we've all been hiding parts of ourselves and giving parts of ourselves. Maybe it's time we all be, I don't know, whole with each other. That sound good? It sounded better in my head.
Farron definitely, laughs at that comment. No, I think that makes sense. I think, well, it's a process, and it's going to be a longer one for a certain shitty person.
Oh yeah, that we can 100% agree on. You know something? I kind of thought that I was doing Arrow a favor by letting them do their whole loner disconnected thing. I don't think I have. I don't think we are. Honestly, I don't think any of us have been doing each other any favors. And I think that needs to change.
You're right.
Just Vori died not feeling whole. I don't think Rydia did either. We're in a dangerous line of work, so... You know, if any of us are gonna go out, at least we can go out feeling... I guess whole, you know?
Like we're accepted for our whole selves.
Yeah. We gave it our whole effort.
Okay, I think we are starting to stretch the metaphor a bit here.
I'm not the bard.
Thank you, Gregor.
Or what?
Well, for being here and being my friend.
Thank you for being in mind.
I think we can cut from that scene. And we cut to somewhere else. The following morning, we see a clearing of trees in a ravine with these sort of palisade walls, and in the center we see the beginnings of a large log structure with scaffolding built up around it. Off to the side, there's a pile of charred and discarded wood, and inside we see Bruno working, lifting these enormous logs into place. And we hear a voice from the still unbuilt entryway. "Oh, love what you've done with the place. Truly inspired." And we see Bruno turn, like, just barely to look toward the doorway. "I am not here for your games, Kazan." "Oh, aren't you? You could have fooled me." And we see a man stride in, wearing fine robes with snow-white hair and 2 small horns protruding from his forehead. Well, a little birdie told me that you had another demon here. Yes. Bruno sets down the log. One of my scouts. I attempted to convert her, but the process was not successful. No. Not your... He looks around. Not your pawns, Bruno. The woman. Your lieutenant brought her in? Ah. What of it? Where is she? She left. She left? I see, yes. You let her go then, or she escaped? I do not wish to dig into this, Kazan. It will be dealt with. Gregor will pay dearly. I promise you that. I do not care for your vendettas, Bruno. The woman. I want her. I do what is best for my people, Kazan. You do what I tell you, Bruno. Do not forget who made you. And we see Bruno's knuckles tense. Oh, did you want to say something? And Bruno just picks up the log and swings it at this guy, growing to his full size, and we hear a crunch as this figure goes flying across the room and hitting the opposite wall. Good show. And we see him pop his shoulder back into place and then, like, pull his head back around and just slowly reassemble himself. Now that you've gotten that out of your system, Bruno, find her, bring her back. Your vendetta will wait. But my needs are immediate. And, we see the party as they get ready to depart Sanctuary. It says 1 week later, and I think we get a close-up of Annika's golden eyes as she looks between each of the party members, and we're at the top of an hour. So we're going to step away for a short break, and when we come back, we will see our heroes head toward Elisordran and the danger that awaits them there. See you soon. Hello and welcome back to the final hour of episode 13 of From Dust. So, as you set out from Sanctuary, let's see if we can get a look at Sanctuary and Elisardren. It's a sizable distance, but given that you just got from Two Rivers to Sanctuary in like 2, maybe 2.5 weeks, it's not going to be that far for you with horses. Who is doing what, and would you like to make stops along the way, or is your hope to just head straight to Elisardren?
I mean, Arrow's hope there. Arrow would want to head straight there.
Okay.
Just because he doesn't want to waste any more time. Like, it's been a while since he talked to his sister. So he doesn't know how... I mean, he knows how drastically things can change in that amount of time with a zombie army marching into the woods. Who knows? So he would want to... And I feel like he's made this particular trip before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he would be, willing to step away from the road if he knew there was a faster way. But he wants to basically cut straight there.
Okay.
If at all possible.
Yeah. And the rest of the party also on board with heading.
Say they know how dangerous and important this could be, so
Okay.
I think we're good to move.
All right. So who's gonna be quartermastering? Is it gonna be Gregor again?
Yeah, he's the best quartermaster.
And I'm assuming y'all are keeping track of your rations, right? You have enough for your. I
I just keep stocking back up whenever we're.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at like an 8-day ride from Sanctuary to the edge of Elisardren, or 8 ration. So, Arrow's gonna fucking ace it, of course, because that's what he does. Meaning it only takes like 5 days. He's also gonna ace the scouting check, which will be good. And Gregor, wouldst thou like to undertake a perilous journey?
Of course I would. Oh.
Well, mark experience.
Thank you.
And okay. Well, you do not perform your job as expected, meaning the normal number of rations are not consumed. So, I think... Actually, you tell me, what does this look like? Like, why have you failed to keep rationing under check? So you'll be spending 12 rations for this journey.
Ugh.
What happens?
Maybe, like, as we said before, Gregor was giving out very generous helpings of rations.
So you're just, like, continuing to increase...
Yes, Gregor's giving everybody Gregor-sized
Yes.
Like, yeah, this is what the normal person needs to eat.
So I think about on the night before you're expected to arrive at Elisardren, once you've finished eating and the clink of spoons against bowls has sort of quieted down, Annika is gonna stand up. I think I've made my opinions clear about speaking to each other. But I know that is not easy if you are not used to it. So I would like to share. I
Okay.
I was not always a demon, obviously. Um, but I was never normal. When I was a child, I hurt myself, and as any child does, playing in the fields. But I discovered that came with a power. You saw it, perhaps, when, well, while we were traveling. But my blood carries with it a power. I do not understand it. It is not magic like yours, Farron. I am not a mage. I have no innate ability of my own. But when I am harmed, there is a power there. I did not tell this to you not because I wanted to... Because I wanted... There have been many who would have used this for themselves, because it is not a power I control. It is a power that belongs to whoever calls upon it. I have not always been so lucky as to have traveling companions that wished me well. But if I want you to share, I figured I should tell you. And something happened when I became like this. I can see when people carry darkness inside of them, the demonic essence. And if they are willing, I can take it from them.
Does it hurt you to do that?
No. I do not know why I can do this. I could not do it before I became what I am. At least not that I knew of. But I can now. That is why, as I told Gregor, that is why that woman wanted to take me to Bruno. She was hoping that I could take his power away, but I cannot. Before somebody is gone, she looks at Arrow, I can help them. But once they change, they are what they are.
Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. We are certainly learning how to do that.
I have found it begins with trust. And she sits down.
I love our even mom group therapist.
She's so good. She's not afraid to lay down the law. So Bruno has changed in some way.
Yes. I cannot say for sure, because obviously until very recently I didn't know it was possible for this to happen to a person. But I believe that sometimes I believe I kept myself because of my blood. I imagine Bruno must have some power that allowed him to keep his mind.
I mean, he was always real persuasive. He knew how to be a leader, but I was never aware of any special powers.
Perhaps it was just his will. I do not know. But the people that I have seen change, that have not kept themselves, feeling this, feeling it coming for you, feeling it eat at your heart, it weakens you. It makes you desperate. People cannot remain themselves when they are desperate. So, if you have any questions, I will answer.
Would you be willing to help me?
Would you be willing to let me help?
I can't help but feel that maybe I deserve it.
Why?
It's a reminder, isn't it?
In a way. But what does it remind you of?
Mistakes made.
Do you need that?
I don't know.
When you know, then I can help you. But if I help you and you do not know, you will bring it back.
He just nods a little bit.
She looks around the fire. Well, if there is nothing else, I believe it is somebody else's turn.
Gregor is like now looking around with kind of a shit-eating grin. Because for the express reason that Arrow kind of sort of asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's progress.
Yeah, Farron will probably catch this grin and will just gently nudge Gregory's leg
Like,
with
if
their
you
foot.
laugh, he will never share it with us again.
Gregor's gonna clean himself up, and Gregor's gonna stand up and be like, alright, guys. If there's anything I've learned since traveling with each other and having Anika join with us, it's that she's absolutely right, and we are terrible. And we need to stop being terrible. I should probably be specific, and I mean about, like, communicating with each other, about trusting each other, especially you, Arrow. You are the worst. I have no problem telling you this. I don't know if it's a self-defense thing, I don't know if it's because you secretly deeply care about us, or maybe you don't at all. I don't know, but from this point forward, because we're about to walk into Zombieville, so we might die soon. I think we need to be a family. And you know what? I thought I was helping you, Arrow, before. Giving you space here. And I don't think I was. So, from this point on, I'm gonna be obnoxious and ask you how you're doing and ask you where you're going. Same goes for the rest of you, don't worry, I'm not gonna neglect you, but this one needs it more. And we're gonna stop being shitty to each other and ourselves. And that's all. Thanks for coming to my talk. Gregor's gonna sit down. Oh, wait, one more thing. Gregor's gonna sit back up. And, look, if we, like, die or something tomorrow, I'm happy that I've been traveling, guys. I've felt more at home with you than I have at White Spire or with those bandits. Now I'm done. Actually, no, I'm just kidding that time.
Thank you for sharing, Gregor.
You know, it felt good.
Annika doesn't look at you, but she smiles.
Farron will probably give a little bit of a sigh, noting that Arrow's probably not buy into this yet. And I don't know if they'll stand up. Because, like, but why? But, yeah, they'll lean, forward a bit to kind of look at everybody. I think it's been fair to say that the past little while, well, it has been good to travel with all of you, has been quite harrowing. Faced off many possibly lethal situations. A lot of no-win situations. And we've made mistakes and lost people. And I'm very aware I'm not as much of a kind of, does the sweeping gesture with himself, a fighting person. I'm good at two things, talking and magic, most of the time.
Well, that's great, because we're not.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything. But really, sometimes both of you just need to know when to not say things. And not dig yourselves into holes. Because it happens. Several times. But part of it, that's part of why we're in a group. I can do certain things that you can't, and both of you can certainly do things that I can't, and look at Annika. And you can certainly do things that not even a mage like myself can do. And, well, if I was to go through this harrowing journey that we have, I think all of you have been the best companions one could ask for. Minus the we're just the not talking to each other thing that we're working on. Kind of gives you a little smile and wink to Annika.
Thank you, Farron. It's brave of you to admit your own weaknesses. They appreciate that. She looks sidelong at Arrow. I think we get the same, like, 3 sets of expectant eyes move toward Arrow. And we hear Lake's voice in Arrow's head. Do they want something from you?
I imagine that she's like sitting on his shoulder and he just reaches up and pats her. They- and he sighs. He doesn't want to talk to them about anything, but
No.
you're coming with me to my home. And no one from the outside has ever been allowed in. Even under the best circumstances, I couldn't guarantee your safety there. We've killed people for getting too close. So, I have to thank you for being willing to come at all. It will be dangerous. But I'm glad that you're coming. It's better than going alone.
Thank you, Arrow. It is good to hear you speak. And it is true, as I have learned in these last weeks, that traveling alone is not the same as traveling with friends. So I am sure we will find great luck in our attempts tomorrow and in the days beyond. But do not let this be the last time we speak with each other. So I cannot do this every night. She stands up, like grabs her bowl and goes over to like clean it in a stream.
Gregor's gonna be like ear to ear, and then he's gonna look down and be like, "Skullbreaker,
Yes,
you
Gregor.
have anything you want to say?"
Arrow gets up and leaves.
I feel my input is not wanted here. But maybe... Maybe someday. Maybe someday you should hear about the holes that I came from. Not tonight. Tonight is for your conquest, Gregor, not mine.
Thank you, Skullbreaker. I appreciate that.
Don't think about it too
Good
hard.
work.
It doesn't mean anything, Gregor.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your stew.
Okay.
And if there's nothing else you'll want to handle on this night, I think we can cut to the following day. So we see you riding this road along the plains and coming upon a small town, sort of like the last bit of civilization before the forest, but also if you're coming from the other direction, the first hint that you have that you actually came out of the forest at the right spot. I think it's called Magi's Crossing. Yeah, there's this town just a few miles from the forest. And as you ride into town, there is no one there. Doors swing open in the breeze. Windows unlatched. Rain barrels filled with water. What do you do?
It's likely that I passed through here before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably your first non-elvish civilization.
Was it populated?
Yes,
Last time I was
for
here?
sure. It was busy too. There's a lot of traders. This is as far as a lot of merchants will go, and they'll like dump their goods so that the bonds magic can come buy them here. They don't want to try and go through the forest and the mountains and all that.
Good luck.
Gregor's probably familiar too, then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would have probably come this way together.
Yeah.
Yeah. This might have been like you expected you were dropping Gregor off here, and then he just sort of stuck with you.
I was like, okay, see you later. Walking down the road, and Gregor's still with me. I'm like, what? Yeah, I think when they can see that it's like empty, Arrow shoots like a pointed glance at Gregor, like, uh-oh, this isn't right.
Does there seem to be any like obvious evidence of anything? An attack or disease or
This sounds like a discern realities to me. So,
time to be
Gregor,
discerning.
if you would like to roll, would somebody like to help?
I would love to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me to help.
I would love to.
Want to
I
roll plus
also-
bond to assist?
Yeah.
Oh! You
Oh,
help
hot
so
dang.
much.
+1.
Go ahead and take a +1, yeah.
Cool. Don't be bad, Gregor. Okay.
Oh, shit!
I see everything.
You may ask 3 questions off of the list there. And
But what
feel
does a
free
13
to-
get me?
Nothing. I forget if there are advanced moves in Dungeon World. But yeah, so you can ask any 3 questions off of that list, and if you can wiggle the question around. You can be like, I'm asking this question, but what I'm actually asking is.
All right. Well, first one seems good. What happened here recently?
A lot of people died. So as you begin to take a look, you see that there are sort of marks cut into doorways, the odd arrow sticking out of horizontal surfaces. Peering in, you see some pools of blood.
Ooh.
You do not see
Are
any
they
bodies. They are not. They are stale and brown, soaked into the wooden floors of these buildings.
What should I be on the lookout for?
There are no bodies. Nothing has been left behind. which is to say you should be on the lookout for an undead army that is increasing its numbers.
Yeah. What here is useful or valuable to me?
I think maybe you take some time to like go through the houses and see if you see anything that could like shed some more light on this, or find any survivors maybe. And you don't find any survivors, but moving through the town, going into one of the houses, you see prominently displayed, but very, very like well bolted down. There is a case with a sword in it, and the sword is in amazing condition. It does not fit the means of your average person in this town. But taking a little bit of a dig around, I think you also find a stack of small journals, like pocket-sized journals, and like taking a brief flip, you see that this was the home of a retired adventurer. What would you like to do?
Any further details in the diary other than a retired adventurer lived here?
Yeah, so give me just a moment to check my notes. He lied as he generated a name. Ooh. Oh. Yes. Okay. Yes. So the journal belonged to a woman by the name of Dorothea Brightsong. Although her true name, as she writes, was actually Althadel Brightsong. She writes of a homeland that she could no longer visit, and how she left one day in search of her human mother, and that, sort of flipping through, she didn't find her, but she did find many other people, make many other friends along the way, and there is specific mention of the sword. She retrieved it from an old Eldrin ruin, where it had been implanted in the skull of a giant, and in sort of soaking in that essence and the magic of the Eldrin ruins for an untold amount of time, carried with it some of the giant's strength. But she says, it says in the journal that she no longer felt at home in the land that she was born in, but that it still meant much to her. So she settled down here so that she could be close.
Gregor's gonna hand the journal to Arrow.
Gimme.
I think you recognize the last name.
Okay.
I think there's an herbalist in Elisurdren, with the family name Brightsong.
Yeah, I mean, it would take like no time at all for him to put this together that she must have been from Elisurdren, like,
Yeah,
and left home.
This is some relative you have never heard of, as often happens when people leave Elisurdren.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't exist anymore. Cool. I would like to keep it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and
because
add it.
I think that would be, it's so rare that people come back.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks, like, if they are there, he can take it to her family.
Yeah.
They can know what happened to her.
Gregor? Gregor, you're taking that sword, aren't you?
You're not jealous?
Of course not. It's not talking to you, and it teaches you nothing. However, in the hands of an ally, perhaps one too weak to fight competently, it could prove useful.
You're right. Is the case like locked or anything?
Yeah, it's a glass case with a lock on it.
Gregor, the woman is dead.
Oh, no, don't worry. I don't feel bad about it. Gregor's gonna go and attempt to break the lock.
Okay, go ahead and roll. I think that's Ben Barslift Gates.
Lock picking.
Ha! 7. All right, choose 2. Doesn't take a very long time. Nothing of value is damaged. Doesn't make an inordinate amount of noise, or you can fix the thing again without a lot of effort.
I'll say it doesn't take very long and it doesn't make noise.
Okay. So. Yeah, I think you go to break the lock and you put more torsion on like the actual case than you were intending, and like just all of the glass shatters. More than you break the lock. The lock is staying there.
That'll do.
Um,
Gregor will very carefully try to like brush the glass off of it.
okay, you do in the process cut yourself a little bit, so you're going to take 2 harm.
Okay.
Not bad, but you are bleeding a bit from your hand.
And Gregor will pick the sword up and like examine it.
As you lift it, you feel power surge into your arms, and it feels like light as a feather.
Whoa. Hey, Farron. Try this out.
I...
Just grab
What
the
art
handle.
exactly? You know that I'm not very good at...
I got a feeling.
If I kind of like squint their eyes a bit and then take the sword in like the way that sounds like, oh god, this is gonna be heavy.
Yeah, you're like, okay, and yeah, no, it is extremely light.
Huh. Interesting.
It handles, I mean, it's a little longer than your rapier. I think it's a long sword, but it handles similarly.
Well then. Thank you. Kind of does a few experimental.
Yeah,
Makes sense with
you
it.
can get some swishes in, and as it passes the curtains, you just like swipe straight through them. There's no pull against the fabric.
Huh, so that's what that feels like.
Pretty great, right?
I won't lie, it's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just kind of having lost the rapier a week and a bit ago. Well, tuck it into their belt.
Yeah, it's got an accompanying scabbard that you can use.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can find here, or this place is creepy?
As
We
great
shouldn't
as that
stay
is,
long.
Yeah, if they cleared this place out, then time is definitely of the essence.
Okay. And the four of you mount your horses once more, set off into the hills around Elisurdrun. And maybe an hour later, your horses begin to sort of shy and become nervous and like stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And Arrow.
What are they saying?
Yeah. Since you can speak with horses now, they smell death. They smell dead things. Like danger, death, predator.
Yeah, I think because also like Arrow doesn't want to take the main way in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wants to. He's better on his feet, honestly. Once we get into the forests, he would probably dismount,
Mm-hmm.
and tell his horse to go be safe, and to leave the forest.
Right.
They would know where the closest town that they had passed through was,
Mm-hmm.
and he would look to the others and say, "We have to let them go."
Well, I was hoping it would stay this easy for our entire journey, but I suppose not. Hanukkah will get down and like pull some of the bags off. The rest.
Yeah.
She smacks the like sort of pats the back of the horse. The rest will be a gift to whoever finds you.
Yeah, I think he would, if we had the means to do this, like just a scrap of paper, he
Okay.
would leave a note.
Farron
with-
always has paper.
Cool.
Right.
He would leave a note that says, like basically to the effect of, take care of me,
Mm-hmm.
like keep me, and attach like a small sack of gold with it.
Oh, okay.
And tell the horse to go back to the last town where they were treated well.
Okay.
Because hopefully if they were stabled somewhere, the people would recognize them.
Mm-hmm. And be like,
And,
oh yeah.
I would be like, weird note, but okay. So he'll send, however many coin you think appropriate, to let them stay for a month, maybe.
Like, let's say 30 coin.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, just overshooting it, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, and get all their goods off, and then send them back. Send whatever they can carry.
Do Farron and Gregor follow suit?
Yeah, Gregor very slowly gets off a biscuit, and we'll pat Biscuit's neck, pet their ears, and be like, "It's been good, Biscuit. Go, get out of here, be safe." As Gregor's like holding back a tear.
Harry meets the Hendersons. Okay. So you send your horses off and continue perhaps on foot. And
We grow wings and fly.
Wow. And maybe 5 minutes later, as you reach the top of a hill that looks down into the valley, you hear a sound reach you. A cacophonous din. A sort of nightmare amalgam of wheezes and moans and scraping rising from the valley floor. Do you look, or do you turn back?
Taking a little peek-see.
About Farron? And Gregor?
Yeah.
All right. And as you look upon, actually, let me read the move to you. Here we go. When you gaze upon the teeming sea of undeath, roll plus wisdom. As hundreds or perhaps thousands of decaying bodies, no longer recognizable as people, span out across the valley ahead of you. And you are struck by the horror before you. Alright, 2 7 and 9s, that's good. On a 10 plus, Arrow, you steel your heart and mind against the horrors before you, but you will remember this day. On a 7 to 9, Farron, Gregor, your mind cracks under the weight of such a wretched vision. You receive -1 ongoing to int and wisdom rolls until your next rest. And as you stand in horror, we're going to end the episode. So, woo! What a show.
Oh man.
This is good. Got some feelings. Lots of feelings. Got a smooch.
Got a smooch!
Yeah. Okay, maybe more than one smooch for summer 2019. We'll see. But yeah, we
So
will be
pleased.
back with episode 14 to see what happens with our heroes as they face that in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, we can be found elsewhere, starting with Summer. Where can people find you being your awesome self on the internet?
Well, you can find me mostly on Twitter and on my channel on Twitch. On Twitter at Just a Summer Job, I tweet everything that I'm going to be doing because other kinder people, better people tweet for me, and so I just retweet it, and I'm like, yes, this is where I will be. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, I will be on Off the Table, _the table here on Twitch. Wow, we won't be back here on Saturday.
No.
I was like,
We won't.
What? We won't. Wow. Okay, so I'll be back here Sunday, next Sunday.
Is
right?
that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, next Sunday.
Calendars are hard.
Calendars are so hard. Schedules are so hard. But it's going to be great as we move to Ryutama Weekly. So excited. But yeah, we'll be doing D&D, Urban Shadows, Polaris, and Lady Blackbird this week over on Off the Table. So come hang out with us because it's just drama.
Yep,
Every day of the week.
It's-
It's going to be great.
it's true.
Promise.
If you liked the drama that you saw here tonight, and you would like significantly more of it, like in a concentrated format, go follow Off the Table and watch them play games, because holy shit.
Smooches only.
Smooches only. Kiana, how about you? Where can people find you doing awesome stuff?
Well, yeah. You can find me over on Twitter at KillaS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing. Playing role games every day of the week.
Your mic's cutting out a bit.
No! Why?
Ah!
Ah! Twitter. Find me on Twitter. At KillaS. Best way to do it. because I do a lot of games every week, and it's
Oh,
too many to list off.
Yeah, that's real.
But
Awesome.
yeah, find me tomorrow. First in the morning on Katie's channel doing Bluebeard's Bride Volume 5.
Ooh.
And then after that for the premiere of The Lost Girls, which is 80s vampires in the Cypher system. It's great. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome. And I will say, not only can you find out what shows Kiana is on her Twitter, but she tweets super smart stuff. So if you care at all about role-playing games or just anything, you should already be following her. Yeah. Adam. Everybody's
Hey.
favorite semi-oblivious fighter.
That's me. You can find this semi-oblivious fighter on Twitter at Adam Rowe, where I post most of my YouTube voiceover whatever updates. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Adam Rowe, where various tabletop things
Your
and
mic's cutting out
topics.
too. What the fuck, Discord? Get your shit
Hello?
together.
Hey,
Hello?
Discord, could you
Can you hear
please
me?
not?
I'll just speak really loud.
Okay. That will work.
Or you guys can find me on Instagram at Adam Rose Minis, where I show off the minis that I paint.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Fantastic. Hello, I am Dylan, aka Anarthus. You are on my channel right now. Holy crap. Whether you're watching this on Twitch or in like 3 months when I finally get this on YouTube, you already know where to find me. You can find me here, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all Anarthus, all easy to find. But I would also like to point out, as I do, because I am a human living within capitalism, and thus I need money, that I have a Patreon, where you can support this show and every other show that I do, along with my other creative endeavors like game design, because that's a thing I do. I make games, and digital cartography, all that sort of stuff. You can support that through Patreon. And to shill for myself just a little bit longer, the Patreon is not set up around tiers. It is not set up to only give things to people that can afford to pledge. It is set up so that as the entire Patreon reaches certain funding goals, I release things to everyone, including people who cannot afford to support the thing. So, if that sounds cool to you, and you have some dollars to throw at it, please consider taking a look, pledging at whatever level you feel comfortable, and helping everybody get some goodies, or alternatively, please consider sharing it on Twitter or Facebook, or emailing it to your friends that are nerds, or I don't know how people do social media these days. Just put it in front of people that maybe can throw some dollars at it, because you'll still benefit from it, because honestly, sharing things around is work, and I would like to reward that work, even if it does not come with a dollar sign attached. So, we are about halfway to our first goal, which will have me doing giveaways every month of my maps and my token borders that I make, with multiple winners every single time. It's not just going to be like, one of my 500 Twitter followers will get this thing. Like, I would like a decent chunk of people to win stuff every month. But also I can't just give stuff away for free because I need to eat. And yeah, there will be other things coming up. I've talked about it very briefly yesterday, I think, but I'm going to start doing a bit goal on Twitch, which will work similarly but different in that it's not going to be a monthly goal. It'll be just a whenever we hit it. And in fact, I've already started tracking, so the bits that y'all sent in tonight are already counting toward it. Thank you very much. But the bit goal will be for me to run bonus one-shots in various systems. Each time we hit that goal, I will run a one-shot. And specifically, the goal is there, one, because Twitch doesn't give you money until you earn a certain amount, and I would like to convince Twitch to give me money. But also, so that I can pay people to do the thing, because I would like to give people money for their time. So, for the one-shots, there you go. If you like the people that you see on this channel, and you would like to support me and them, bits are the way to do it, because literally that will do that thing. So yeah. All right, I think that's enough. That's enough out of me. We are going to go away. I'm going to eat. I imagine my cast will do so as well. But I would like to thank you all for watching, for chatting, for lurking, for doing all of the things that you do to make this channel awesome. But most importantly, I would like to wish you a wonderful rest of your night. Good night.